Alright, so I see a lot of people that are upset about the Supreme Court ruling, and I think you don't understand how our government works. I think you're using your emotions instead of logic to dictate what's really going on. Like I've said before, we have states' rights for a very, very good reason. And if the Supreme Court would have done anything to rule in their favor, yep, maybe you would have got a Trump presidency for 4 more years, but you would have been stripped of your state's rights. As of right now, let's just use this for example. As of right now, there's many states that aren't on lockdown, okay? But there's some states that are. Now, why is that? Because states have the ultimate power. Same thing with the vaccines. 43 states or 44 states have regulations on the books that you cannot force mandate, and you can have a religious exemption. If the Supreme Court would have ruled in favor of this lawsuit, that would have stripped states' rights away, and they would have used that as a precedent for everything, including the Second Amendment, the First Amendment. It would essentially wipe out our entire, everything that our states have. And that would be horrendous. Because I don't know how anybody can argue the fact that DC isn't completely corrupt. I hope people can understand that a Biden win is a good thing. Because during the Trump presidency, all the conservatives were just sitting back. Many of them watching QAnon, believing some nonsense that many of us exposed. And people still think, oh, he's been shafted. No. People need to realize you've been played. Many of us spoke about this a couple of years ago, and people still try to say, oh, no, that's not the case, whatever. They'd make any excuse for it. Well, if you're just going to make any excuse for it, then you're probably going to continue doing that. I don't see how anyone, especially the Proud Boys that supposedly are fighting against Black Lives Matter and all these Soros organizations, don't understand how close Trump and Soros actually are. And this, I mean, they spent Christmas together in 2009. And people still say, oh, it's 4D chess. Sure. Then how come Soros let the man keep $300 and something million? Let's look into some of this. In 2005, Donald Trump started construction on Trump International Hotel and Tower in Chicago. To build the tower, Trump received several loans, primarily from Deutsche Bank. That's interesting, right? $650 million, but also lined up with $160 million mezzanine loan from a group of private investors. Fortress Investment Corp, Blackacre, and support from billionaire George Soros, who invested $160 million to help build the Chicago skyscraper. Soros was a key piece to what was the largest construction financing in the city's history. According to real estate sources and public documents, the investor trio was led by Fortress Investor Group, according to financing statement filed October 19th with the Cook County Recorder's Office, Records Office, whatever. Fortress, which manages more than $10 billion in investments, is familiar with downtown Chicago, blah, 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 blah. Come down here. The third investor, And then in October 2008, Trump had sold nearly $600 million in condo hotel units, more than half of the total value of all the units in his tower. After 7 years, 2005 to 2012, Trump was on his way to paying off the main construction loan to Deutsche Bank. For reasons unexplained to the public, the majority of Trump's mezzanine loan was quietly forgiven by the loan's originator. That would be George Soros. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. No media outlet which covered the deal put together the pieces and told the public that George Soros let Trump off the hook for a loan which had been valued between $82 and $312 million. Why would Soros give the amounts to a massive debt relief to Trump during a financially successful period in Trump's life? He wasn't having any money issues. Why? What did he sell? What did he sell him? You think he's just nice? No. Don't be too hard on yourself. I know some people already know this, but for those who are just brand new to finding this out, you've been played. We've come across information related to a long, bizarre financial dealing between Donald Trump and Soros Fortress. It goes on and on. And this is not the only one. I'll leave these links in the description. Jared Kushner didn't disclose business ties to George Soros, Peter Thiel, and Goldman Sachs, or that he owes $1 billion in loans. Peter Thiel, he's an interesting character. But another thing, Donald Trump actually, Donald Trump took liberal icon George Soros' money. Yeah, we know. And then they spent Christmas together. Yeah. Something, it goes into it. I'll leave all these links below. Let's see. Speaking of Goldman Sachs, these are all the Goldman Sachs boys that were printing out money like it was water. And our dollar is now worth literally nothing. I don't know how many people know this. I think it went largely unreported because of all this election stuff. Let's see, 24% of the dollars that the United States has ever printed was printed in the last year. Do you understand what that means? 24% of all the money ever printed in the 200 and something years that we've been a country was printed this year. And most people have no idea. People are starting to see it because there are people that are getting, they're having to pay back their stimulus checks and they're having to pay back all these things. Forbes keeps doing that. But 22% of all the money ever printed was printed in the last year. It's interesting that Trump had all these Goldman Sachs swamp creatures on his team, right? And now they're going to be able to jet out. He doesn't care. He made his money, and we could get into all the money that Trump family and friends received during the coronavirus bailout. Millions. And he's not the only one. I mean, don't get me wrong. Many of the politicians did this. This wasn't for the small business people. This was for them. But what I'm trying to get you to see is that Trump isn't your friend. These people made millions. Why would Soros let Trump have that money? Because he knew he'd get it back somehow. What better way to do it than to get him in the White House and print out money with Stephen Mnuchin? So rather than being discouraged about the situation that occurred, which technically is unfortunate, I wouldn't say unfortunately, it is what it is. And the thing is, Biden's really conservative. I mean, he's going to try some crazy crap, but they all are. All of D.C. is a swamp. The only way anything will ever be fixed is if we work from the bottom up, meaning your local, even down to your community organizations. Your community, your local, your state governments. That's where you're going to make a difference. And that's why our founding fathers made states' rights. Because they knew one day there would be a swamp. They knew. They weren't stupid. But I can't believe how many people are willing to just go, I see like all these people out protesting. What are you protesting? Technically, I've said this in another video, the way our Constitution is written, technically they don't even have to hold, if your state feels that they don't even want to hold an election, they don't have to. Which is fine. Like, if for some reason Hawaii doesn't want to hold an election and they just want to send their, however many electors, they can do that. I mean, each state has its own laws, and that's why it's so important to not compromise on that. You compromise on states' rights for the election, you would be in their pocket. And that's probably what they were trying to do, honestly. I mean, I don't know for who would have been trying to do that, but I'm saying that would have set the precedent to where they can now pass Second Amendment federal laws, Second Amendment, First Amendment, everything out the window. That's what they would have done. It would have compromised our states' rights. And don't think the left is excited about this Biden win. They are seeing what they did, and they're seeing that this is going to be horrific. So just because we lost a battle doesn't mean we lost any war. It's crazy, $9 trillion printed out. This needs to happen. Too many people sat back and trusted Trump, and now we're in the position that we're in. But it doesn't matter. The president isn't as powerful as people believe. And you have to realize that. You have to realize that if you live in one of those corrupt states that allowed that election nonsense to go down, move south. I mean, it's pretty easy because it's way cheaper. It's just move south. It's going to be the safest thing to do anyway, because I'm sure things will end up perspiring, whatever. But don't get all crazy. Oh my gosh, they're going to take everything from us. Remember before, when Obama was put in, everybody was buying bunkers and stuff. Oh my gosh, he's going to take away our guns, and he's going to do this, he's going to do that. No, he didn't. And why didn't he? Because at every turn, anytime they tried to put up a liberal, anything that was too far left, the watchdogs were on it and making sure it didn't happen. And that's something that didn't happen these last 4 years. we had people that were sitting back, way too comfortable, thinking that, oh, Trump's playing some 4D chess. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But it's fine. It's fine. Don't get yourself worked up about it. Don't argue with family about it. It's fine. And most of all, don't let the left think that you're freaking out about this. That's their only thing that they are basking in right now. They're loving that people are freaking out about this. Don't freak out about it. Make this something that you can mobilize and say, okay, we need to take responsibility in our local and state governments. And stop believing QAnon, first of all. If you're still following QAnon, my gosh, I doubt you made it this far into my video if you are. But, I mean, that left-wing run, fake Christian, literally satanic garbage. But I'm not going to go into all that. There we go. Anyway, I hope everybody has a wonderful night. Like, share, and subscribe. Take a deep breath. Talk to other people and tell them how it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, we saw what they did. We all saw it. What those states, that handful of states did. And they're going to be held accountable for it. They think that this is some big win. Well, they did, but now they're already seeing, oh dang, Biden's pretty freaking conservative when in the grand scheme of things. Either way, they were playing together. George It's whenever they're sitting there giving money to the left. However, he did it like on a scale that is just out of control. The only way to fix anything is in your communities, at your local and state levels, including ensuring that your elections in your states are legal and not legal. We can't really say much on YouTube about what is and not and whatever. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful night. Bye, guys.